This box right here holds some cards from a recent grading submission, but not just any submission. Because a few months ago, we found 20 PSA cards from a collection that we thought were misgraded. So we took the time to crack all of those cards out of the PSA slabs and we resubmitted to Beckett. That's right, Beckett. Let me tell you the story. My name's Ty Wilson. I host a show called Chasing Cardboard, and I've resold over $2.5 million in sports cards over the last 5 years. We buy a lot of sports card collections, and most of the time, it's a mix of ungraded and graded cards. All good. Because 99% of the time, we just roll with the inventory and we work on reselling all of those cards through our systems. But every so often, we come across a collection that has cards that we believe need to be regraded. That could be because the slab is cracked, could be because the grading company is irrelevant or terrible, or because we simply believe the card was not graded accurately. You heard that right. You see, grading companies can make mistakes. If you've submitted cards to get graded, you probably had your fair share of cards that you know should have been graded better. If you go take a minute and you go scan social media, you'll probably find some very nice posts about recent PSA 5s and 6s in submissions. The reason for this is twofold. Number one, these companies use humans to grade cards, and although they have checks and balances in place to provide accurate grades, they are still humans and they are subjective. Number two, these companies get your cards and they look at them under an intense magnification, and they usually see things that you don't see. So the grades that you and I believe are inaccurate are usually more accurate than you think. But back to my collection. I grabbed this amazing LeBron James collection from Daniel in Kentucky back in October. This was one of the better player collections that we purchased in 2024. And inside that collection were some incredible PSA and BGS cards, many of which are in the eBay store right now. But while sorting the collection, I found 20 PSA cards that I felt were severely undergraded. And these were cards that would greatly benefit from a bump in grades. Here are a few of the cards in that batch. First is this 2007 Topps LeBron James First Edition, currently in a PSA 7. The 13 Select LeBron James Skills Prism, currently in a PSA 7. The 09 Elite LeBron James Gold in a 7. And this 2022 Hoops LeBron James Hoopla Artist Proof in a PSA 8. And there's a few other surprises as well. So I made the decision to crack all of these out of their PSA slabs and resubmit them to Beckett. Look, I know, Beckett is not the prominent name that they used to be. And frankly, I haven't submitted with Beckett in 3+ years. But in the basketball world, they still have a very solid reputation. In addition, they do 3 things that I really appreciate. First, they provide subgrades, which means they tell you the grades for each of the subcategories on the scale: centering, surface, corners, and edges. This helps a collector truly understand the condition of their card and what the grader was seeing when they graded it. Why other companies haven't fully leveraged this, it just blows my mind. Second, they do not upcharge you based on some fictitious recent comp of your card. You pay a price for grading, that's it. Third, they grade thicker cards much more favorably than other grading companies. Probably because their slabs are built for the chunky cards, but everybody knows in the hobby, thick cards go to Beckett. So I figured, what the heck? On November 17th, I got the order ready, and Beckett received my order on November 20th. I submitted the order under the standard grading tier, which at the time had a 40 business day turnaround. BGS also had a Black Friday special going on and only cost me $18 per card with shipping to get my cards graded. So I not only included the 20 LeBron James cards, I figured, what the heck? And I also added another 66 cards that were in my to be graded pile. With a 40 business day turnaround, that put my expected completion date at January 23rd. So the waiting began. Now, while I waited, I noticed something that had changed. Instead of charging you when the order is complete, Beckett now charges you the day they receive your cards. So I paid $1,476.39 on November 20th. This is definitely worth noting because if you grade with PSA, you know they don't charge you until your order is complete. And I believe if a company is going to charge you the day they receive your cards and hold a customer's money, they better hit their proposed timelines. Well, about 30 business days go by, and I don't see any updates in the system. So I reach out to Beckett on the standard contact us form and I ask for an update. I wait a few days and I don't get a response. I'm not worried at all, but frankly, I just want to see if they have any sort of customer service. So a few days later, I send another message. I simply ask for an update again. Hey, what's up with the order? Can you give me an update? No response. I mean, if you're not going to respond to customer messages, maybe you should just keep the customer updated throughout the grading process on the site. Just a suggestion. But about a week later, on January 27th, I get an email that my order is complete. Although I didn't get any responses to my messages, I am impressed that they turned the order around in just over 40 business days. But for a company that is working hard to maintain relevance, and now they are charging you up front for your services to be delivered, you'd think they do whatever possible to exceed expectations. But I'm not here to rip on their service. In fact, I'm really excited to see what I got back from them. So let's go open this box and see how Beckett graded some of these cards. Before I show you the 20 cards that I cracked out of the PSA slabs, let me show you a few of the others that I really liked from this submission. I'm not going to spoil too much of the surprise, but it doesn't matter how old you are. Anytime you get a graded card submission back in the mail, you feel like a kid on Christmas morning. Okay, so here is the stack of cards that we're going to go through. This is actually all the ones, these right here are all the ones that we cut out of PSA slabs. So PSA and or CSG, and then there's another one in there too. And then, so my son went through and he put all the old tags on top so we could reveal them together. I'm kind of excited about that. And then this stack right here are just some of the ones that he thought were really cool grades that were not a part of the cracked slabs that I included as the other cards. So we'll go through those together really fast, okay? So let's try this. First, 2016-17. Sky's the Limit Prism Silver in a BGS 9.5. Here's a dual memorabilia card from 2016 Select. That's purple out of 99. That's Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. Pretty nice. Again, that's a thick card that graded well. They're just a little more favorable on corners and edging. One thing about BGS, although they're really they're not favorable. They're just more favorable on the edges and the corners for thick cards. Surfaces, they can be a little bit more aggressive, so fully expecting to see some of those issues. Look at that bad boy. 2020 Fast Break Red in a 9.5. That's out of 85. 21 Select Red out of 199. Oh, this one's sweet. It's a 13-14 Pinnacle Behind the Numbers Artist Proof out of 25 in a 9.5. Almost perfect gem mint. That's when you get quad 9.5s. We got the corners as a 9. That's a sweet card. Here's a non-LeBron 97-98 Teammates Jordan BGS 9 die cut. That's sweet. Here's a card that's usually pretty hard to grade. This is 97 Stadium Club Royal Court. I'll take an 8.5. Give that to me. Old school 80-81 Magic Bird Irving's got the Magic and Bird rookie and a 3.5. Oh, here you go. 96-97 EX 2000 Star Date Kobe Bryant rookie in an 8.5. That didn't get because of the surface and the edges. Here's a beauty. This is the 14 Topps Tier 1 Mike Trout auto and game used memorabilia. Do they always have the gold there for the 10 autograph? That's cool looking. That looks a little bit more prestigious. I like that a lot. 05-06 Reflections Michael Jordan. This thing is sweet. Look at that bad boy. Numbered out of 100 in a 9. We got a Griffey rookie in an 8.5. We got a Bowman Draft Mike Trout rookie in an 8.5 as well. All right, not bad. Those are some cool cards. They look good in BGS slabs. I'll give them that. I'm gonna put them in stacks while we're doing this of like exceeded, didn't exceed, or the same, or exceeded expectations. Okay, only 2 non-LeBrons in here. This is the first. 12-13 Select Kobe Bryant plate. Surfaces were just terrible. So 8 and a CSG, probably. Darn it. Oh, it's terrible. BGS 7. There you go. Surface is a 6. That one killed it. Otherwise, it was a 9.5, 9, and a 9. Bummer. 1 in the didn't do so good pile. LeBron James Mojo Prism. This was numbered out of 25. This was a PSA 8. And it graded a BGS 8. Surface was a 7. Okay, so we got the same. We got one worse, one the same. Okay, here's one that was interesting. This was a BGN grading company.
Huh?
1415 totally certified, platinum blue, and an 8.5. That's numbered out of 149. It graded a BGS 9.5. I like that. So that's one in the improved grade category. Oh, okay, here. This is one that this is probably my favorite card in the batch. This is a 2010 Donruss Craftsman. I knew I had a corner issue there. I mean, you can kind of see that. But it was a PSA 5. And I'm like, this thing is so sweet. It's numbered out of 100. It looks really good on the back. It's got to be better than a PSA 5. Come on, baby. Ooh. Oh, man, I love that one. BGS 9, centering 9.5. They gave the corner. I mean, look, there, look, that corner, 8.5. Everything else was beautiful. This went from a PSA 5 to a BGS 9. This is an awesome card. Such an awesome card. Man, I'm excited about that one. Okay, we got a 13 Select Prism. These are always sketchy because the surface, if it's not perfect, it's not going to grade well with BGS. PSA 7, BGS 7. Okay, yep. Surface 6. There you go. 2010 Limited Silver Spotlight LeBron James, numbered out of 149. This was a PSA 8. Not a bad grade. Grade's an 8.5. So we improved the grade a little bit. Here's the Shaq. I love this. 99 Bowman's Best Refractor. This is a number out of 400. PSA 7. I looked at it and thought, man, oh man, this is about as good as you get outside of a little tiny surface issue right there, which you probably can't see. PSA 7 grades BGS 8.5. Look at that. 9.5, 9.5, corners 9, surface 7.5. I will take the upgrade to 8.5. Okay, first edition, LeBron James. This is numbered out of 119, guys. This is a sweet card. Iconic dunk. LeBron James first edition and a PSA 7 goes to BGS 8.5. Look at that. 9.5, 8.5, 8.5, and a 9. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Okay, we're doing super well here. I'm excited about this. 09 Contenders Perennial Gold. That's in an 8. The gold was numbered to 100, so some of these are just worth taking a shot on. PSA 8 goes to, my gosh, I'm loving this. A Gem 9.5. 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, and a 9. We are on a roll. This is awesome. Okay, 16 totally certified. LeBron James Red. This is a PSA 8. This is numbered out of 199. You can see it's gold, so that's another 9.5. It goes from an 8 to a 9.5. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the improved graded category. Okay, awesome card here. 22 Hoops Hoopla Artist Proof. This is numbered out of 25. 1 of 25. It was at PSA 8, and now it's an 8.5. So it probably doesn't do a lot for value. Those are probably about the same in value. But at least it shows the subgrades. You got a 9.5 and a 9.5 on centering and surface. So, okay, another improve. I debated sending this one in because an 8's not horrible on an orange fluorescent. This is numbered out of 25, 17 to 25. PSA 8 to, BGS 7. That's brutal. Yeah, should have kept that one in. Surface was a 6. Man, that's tough. Some of these I really looked at the surface too. Yeah, so again, surface is really tough with BGS sometimes. That's down. So we're down. That's the second one that we did not improve the grade. We lessened the grade. 09 Elite Gold PSA 7 goes to, there you go, 6.5. So we surface 5.5. My goodness. 9.5, 9.5, 9, and then a 5.5. Die cut, limited edition, LE 150, numbered out of 150. PSA 7 goes to BGS 8.5. Look at that. Another in the improved category. 20 Hoops Courtside Artist Proof. That one's numbered out of 25 as well. PSA 8 to a BGS 9. All right. 14 Donruss Elite Status Die Cut. This one just felt worth it. I knew there was going to be like edges weren't going to grade Jim. It's numbered out of 77. It's just a sweet card. In a PSA 8, hoping for a 9. We got an 8.5. 9.5, 8, 9, 9. So we were really close to a 9. The edges killed it. Yep, that one killed it. Bummer. Still improved it. 14 Excalibur. LeBron James Silver out of 49. I mean, just first glance at that, it looks pretty good. I might get crushed on the surface again. I guess we'll see. There you go. 8.5. I mean, you improve a grade 2.5 points. That's massive. Great card. Mosaic stained glass. There's probably surface issues here that I'm not seeing. PSA 6. BGS 7. There you go. Surface was a 6. Wow. 95959.6. I'd love to hear what you guys say in the comments about surface issues. I mean, we still improved the grade, but not enough. 07 Topps, LeBron James Gold. We got the first edition that we improved. Did we improve the gold? It went from a 7 to an 8.5. I like that a lot. Man, we've improved a lot. And then here, this is a beauty. 04 Black Diamond die cuts, the double cuts. It's the double diamond. These, the more diamonds you get, the more exclusive they are. DC1, not numbered, still fairly rare card. Went from a PSA 7 to a BGS 8.5. I think that might be the first 10 that I've seen in our subgrades. 10 centering. If the corners would have gotten an 8.5, this thing would have jumped to a 9. Wow. No, that's not. That might have been true. Do the math. But 8.5. 7 to an 8.5 on a card like this. That is beautiful. Let me get back to the main camera, but here's the final results. Final results, 16. We improved 16 cards. 2 of them were the same, and 3 of them were worse. 3 to 16. Wow. I am super happy with that. I'm glad we made that decision to crack these out. Let me flip around. I'll show you a spreadsheet I put together. I haven't sold these. I'm recording this kind of like in the moment, but I'll tell you what I think they were worth before and then what they're probably worth after. And we'll see if it was all worth it to help you guys understand the numbers. But this was a fun experiment, something I might have to do more often. Back to the main camera. Okay, so here's a spreadsheet. Don't be overwhelmed with all the numbers. There's a lot of numbers on here. But I just went ahead and I went through this list. I put all the serial numbers, the certification numbers, because some of you may ask, what do you do in a certification number that you've cut out? I sent an email with all these certification numbers and said, hey, look, you can remove these from the population report. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. But I did send that email just to be kind of honest with the system. And then I broke down what these cards are going to do. So some of these you have to guess a little bit, but some you have very fair comps for, so I can kind of guess on pricing. So I don't need to go through all these one by one, but you can see I sorted them by the ones that we crushed, to the ones that were the same, to the ones that we actually devalued the card. We did really well. Of the 20 that we submitted, the difference with grading, 14 of them went up in value. So you can see estimated value for some of these was, X dollars. Then you get the grades and the value for them goes up. So for those that don't know, BGS 9.5s, most of the time equivalent to a PSA 10. That's their gem mint grade. So when you get a BGS 10 pristine, that's where you start to see like crazy multipliers because you very rarely get those. So when you get a BGS 9.5, you can sometimes compare them to PSA 10 values. Now, I did not do that. And in most of these cases, I looked for the closest comp and estimated value. So all that to say, we did really well. These first cards here, you can see the LeBron James Gold went from a $90 value to $175. 60 to 95 on the refractor on the Shack. The silver spotlight went from 40 to 65. The first edition, which was by far the most increase in value, that's a great card. Numbered out of 119, went from PSA 7 to an 8.5. That goes from like 150-ish to 275-ish. That's a big bump. LeBron James double cut, 65 to 105. You can see down the list here. A couple of these, like the Elite Status die cut, went from 60 to 75. It's a bump, but because we paid $18 in grading, we still lost money on that deal. The one that I loved the most, you heard me talk about it, was that 2010 Donna's Craftsman Blue press proof. Went from basically a $20 card, if that, probably that, numbered out of 100, and a PSA 5 to all of a sudden a $125 card in BGS 9. That's a plus $87. That's, 5xing the value of the card. That's pretty sweet. The Skybox LE 50 to 100, that was a nice bump. And then you got that certified red that went from a PSA 8 to a Gem Mint BGS 9.5. $35 card to $150 card. And that platinum blue, which was in a BGN slab, 8.5 to a 9.5. That's again a Gem Mint. That's a $175 card. You can see there on the final tally on the 5. If it was an equal grade, then you're going to lose money. And then grades that drop, they're obviously going to lose money. That's with the grading fee. So all of that, I'll just unhide this so you can see the numbers. That put us, so our PSA value was $1,270. That's what they were worth. We spent $360 in grading. Total cost was $1,630. So that's adding those two together. Our expected value is now $2,080, which puts our plus minus at plus $450. So we increased the value of those cards by $450. And that was a really fun experiment. Let me know what you think. Have you done this before? What do you typically do with crossovers? And what would you have done differently? Either way, appreciate you watching. Take care.